Right, I've got to change the gasket on this. As you can look at them, they look shit. Absolutely knackered. So I'm assuming the gasket behind has never been off neither. I don't know it's blowing yet. I've not had any issues with it, but when I take it off you'll see that it's blowing up at this end and a few of the other little bits, so it needs doing. Absolutely. Right, for the last couple of days I've been soaking these. At least 5 days. Coming in twice a day, giving them a good soaking. These are copper nuts, these, that you have on these. This is the 12mm socket, as you can see there. Made light work of just undoing this bit. No, when you get the socket to fit on these nuts, don't use a 12-sided one, because you don't want them to round the nuts. Use a 6-sided socket. And before you take them off, just tighten the nut a little bit, just till you feel it turn a bit, and then you can back it off, just like I'm doing here. But make sure you use a 6-sided socket. These are 12mm, these. Same process. I'm not going to show you them all, but it's the same process all the way. Some of the nuts came off, some of the studs came out. Ideally I want all the studs to come off in one go, but they don't. But they come out easy enough later on in the video, you'll see it. You see? If you get a stubborn one of the nuts, just spray it. There's no race here. It really isn't. Don't rush to get these off. There you go. I'm trying to sort of like just ease it a little bit. Go back the other way. You just see I'm trying to tighten it a little bit. You want to go forward first to tighten it up and then come backward. And you'll see it just move in a second. Watch. And the next one, watch it go. There you go. Once it moves, then you can get the smaller ratchet on and take them off. You don't want to be rounding the nuts on this. Very limited space. I've got a camera here at the side and a light. The seat's been removed. It's very cramped where you're trying to do this, so you don't want to have to sort of like maul around chiseling stuff off using cold chisels or whatever. I can only get one hand in it. It's quite awkward because I've got all this camera and this other stuff here just to record it. The nuts come off easy enough. I'm replacing all the studs. I got them from Mercedes and the new copper nuts. There's only 10, but I bought 11 just in case I knackered one up. When you actually get the manifold off, you'll see in a minute, you'll see the gasket, and it was blowing in one or two places. I'd been on quite a number of years. If not, it's the original one. I don't know, but it looks shit anyway. Right, just so you know, there's the new one and there's the old one. This is the side that goes to the manifold. It has a raised lip on this side. Same on that one. There's a lip, there's a lip, and there's a lip there. Serial numbers on there as well, so you can see it. So the raised lip, remember, goes to the manifold side. Where it's flat on this side, or the dent from the back of the raised lip on the other side, this is the cylinder head side. You'll see the difference. See how it goes down? It's got an indentation. This is the cylinder head side. Cylinder head side. Raised lip side is what goes to the manifold. Okay, so don't get it mixed up. Now this, you can see it looks a bit skanky, a bit shitty looking. I'm going to get the wire brush on it, on a disc, and clean it up a bit, but I think this wants skimming. Pitted in certain parts, so, but we'll see. I'll do another video later on. You'll see it in a minute. Clean all this up before I put it back on. All that wet oily looking stuff, that's all the WD-40 or whatever it was that sprayed on. There's a serial number, you could probably make out parts of the number. I'll get a wire brush on in a minute. $602-142 or something like that. Yeah, there's a wire brush. I'll get the numbers. Sort it out and write it down for you. Right, this is how I got the studs out. This is what everybody does. Double nuts. Put one nut on. Tighten it all the way down to the actual flack section. So it's nice and tight. Then put the other nut on and tighten that up as well. Studs come out dead easy. There's not much space when you're doing this. If you haven't got the seat out, unless you're 2 foot tall, you ain't going to do this without taking the seat out. It's quite cramped under there. You're underneath the footwell, lying on your side. You can't really see the nut because it's underneath the lip of the cylinder head. Here's me trying to get the spanner on because I've got it the wrong way, bleeding way. But once you get it on, very easy. Watch. As soon as it starts, you can get the socket on it. There you go. And every single one of them came out as easy as that. To be honest, I thought I'd have a lot of problems doing this. I didn't know there was copper nuts. If there'd have been steel nuts and rusted on them studs, well, you know, I might have been opening a can of worms doing this job. And then taking the engine out, because it's bad enough having a socket on trying to do something here. Can you imagine getting an hammer and chisel down there? It's not going to happen. You're going to really struggle. If you took it to a garage, they'd charge you a fortune. But it's doable. Take your time, don't race. It's not a race to get them out, just take your time, keep spraying them. In total, it took me about an hour to get these studs out, which is pretty good. And you can see it's blowing on that one, a little bit on that one. Middle one just a touch. The next one not so bad, and a bit on the end with a viscous fan. You see the bit of black soot, you can see it there. That's the worst one here because it's all blown down on the engine as well. So I did the right thing changing it. Right, I'm just going to have a look at this, a closer look at the gasket. Okay, this is the viscous fan end of the gasket. You can see the tins starting to break up round here. It's been on a long while this, so it was due a change, so you might as well do it. This one's getting worn as well. Breaking up here. It's not so smooth, it's all broke up. It's okay on the top part, but it's going on here, you can see it. Same on this. All getting pitted round here, big build up. But this is the worst one. This is the one that's next to the gearbox at the back of the engine. All breaking up. See it all the way around. All the way around. Let me turn it over. There, you get a better view of it there. All getting thin. It's all bitter, all crappy. All getting thin and pitty around there as well, and pitted. All looking crap. This one looks alright on this side. Just old. This one doesn't look too bad either. All a bit thin there. And this one looks crap as well here. All getting shitty. Pitted. So yeah, made the right decision to get it changed. But that's by far the worst. That's not far off going, that. Yeah, it's a ball ache having to do all this, but it's worth it in the long run. And I've shown you how to take the studs off, soak them all, get it all sorted. Anyway. Right, you need to do this. Don't just put a tiny little bit of cloth on, a cloth inside these ports. Put a big piece in so that it'll go down the port, because you really need to push it in without it falling all the way down. So if you put a lot in, it won't fall down. You need to push it in far enough so that when you're rubbing the sandpaper across with a block of wood or whatever it is you use, you don't catch the cloth, because it'll just keep pulling it out, and you don't want that, because then the shit's going to get in when you're sanding down, or all the dust. So make sure you push the cloth in far enough, and you've got enough cloth for it not to drop in, so you can still get hold of it when you're finished doing all the sanding. Push the cloth in, shove it in. And you'll see in a minute when I do the sanding with the block of wood how it glides right across this cloth. You don't want it to catch it, otherwise it's just going to pull it out and all the shit's going to go in. Yeah, we know it's awkward, but take your time doing it. Don't rush it. Otherwise you'll think, I should have done a better job of that. Just take your time. Put the cloth in, make sure it's pushed in, and then get the sandpaper on. It cleaned up pretty good. When I sanded it down, you'll see in a moment when it goes to the next clip. This is the best angle I can get to show the cylinder head. That's how tight it is for this camera, and a light over the top. There's no room. I only show you certain bits because I've got to take the camera out of the way just so I can do the job. Right, as you can see, I've started to clean that up. All the cloths have all been pushed in. You've got to push them in so that they're lower than the face, so the sandpaper can go right along. You've got to get a block of wood, because as you're pushing it back and forward, it's got to go behind the dipstick as well, but it's hard to do that. So the wood's going behind the dipstick here, tube, which you can't see. If you really want to do this in one go, one end to the other, yeah, don't do it in little bits here and there. Just try and do it as best you can, but try and do it in long strokes. And my sleeve's coming down here, so it's catching the camera a bit. So See how it's going over the cloth? You need it to go over the cloth. Because when you finish what you want to do here and you're ready to put your studs in and all that, you've got to blow all these holes out with the airline. I do have a compressor, so I can pull the airline in to get it all done. I've got to clean all the holes out. Yeah, I could tap them and clean the holes out, but we'll see. If they're going okay, I'll just leave it as that, but otherwise... Okay, let's have a look at this manifold now that I've just cleaned it up a little bit. As much as I want to rub this down and get it flat, this needs skimming. It's pretty bad on either end. Yeah, the middle section is not bad, but you can see pitting. You see pitting on this one, but the end piece here, this is the one that's near the gearbox. This one here, that's bad. That needs skimming. So I'll get that sorted. Okay, just got back from J&E Engineering Service in Rottenstall, Lancashire. Had my manifold skimmed. Done a good job of it. Quite impressed with that. Looks real good. Skimmed it as far as he could. You'll see on the very end here, there's a tiny little bit where he didn't want to go any further than that because it wasn't necessary, so I'm happy with that. Gasket will cover that up, it's not an issue. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Did a good job. I'll put the company name and all that at the end of the video so you can see it. Right, when I took the manifold off, I just chose to disconnect the exhaust pipe underneath the manifold. So now I have to clean all this crap out. This is the dry paste at the top that helps the mating surface, stops any leaks. Anyway, it comes off easy enough, this. Screwdriver, pair of pliers. Make sure you've got the rag in it to catch all the bits when you fall in. You see, they fall off easy enough. Take all these out, sling them in the bin. Some of the little bits you won't be able to get hold of. Make sure you push the cloth down a little bit further and get the wire wheel on your drill. Clean all this surface up just like this. And once it's all clean and you're happy with it, get hold of the rag and pull it out really fast so you pull all the dust and the shit out. Shake your cloth, make sure all the bits are off it, wipe it all round, and when you're ready, shove the cloth back in, and then you'll get no bits falling in. Just like this. See, I've shoved the rag back in. You don't want, when you're putting your studs back in, shit happens, you're going to end up dropping one in. Make sure nothing falls in, guys. Right, I did the studs with the nuts on outside the vehicle. You know, I didn't put them into the head and then put the nuts on because I've got no cloths inside them ports. And knowing me, sometimes being a clumsy bastard, I'll drop a nut in, and if one of them goes in, unless you can get it out with a bloody magnet, you're in the shit. You have to take the cylinder head off. Anyway, I did the double nuts outside. All these went into the cylinder head. No issues whatsoever. One in at a time, and it works. There you go. They're all in there. All done. Nice and fitted. Lift your manifold gasket in. Bit fiddly with the cat. Look, in a minute I move the camera because I can't get the manifold in and tighten them nuts up. So that part's not recorded. This just gets slotted on now. You'll see me lift the manifold down and then the camera's out of the way. There's no more filming then until I actually show you the end bit where all the nuts are tightened on the manifold. Couldn't get hold of it, had to move the camera. There's the copper nuts, just to show you. They're like an oval shape. You see they've got an oval so that they cut onto the nuts. The studs rather, when you tighten it up. And there it is, all tightened up now, all torqued up and done. Finished. And I just have to go underneath and tighten the manifold to the exhaust pipe. But all in all, I'm pleased with the way it went. Yeah, it was a ball ache and it was a fucking pain to do, but I'm glad I did it. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Bit of info at the end here. Tell me the parts are used.